Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you guys are doing great, that you've had a good day. I've had a busy day and I'm pooped. It started out this morning doing my regular chores, laundry and dishes and all those kind of things, trash day to day. And thankfully I went in and was doing my looking over the comments on my YouTube channel, getting those answered. That I had a sweet lady bring to my attention that I was off on my ingredients list on my video with the French vanilla cappuccino mix. Hopefully y'all saw my correction video. If you did not, really quick, I'll tell you that in the description box below, where on the video is correct. I've got everything's right, so if you just watched the video and you wrote it down, it's right. But if you went down below and wrote the recipes from the description box, I mistakenly put 1/2 cup of hot cocoa mix on the French vanilla cappuccino mix, and it should have been 1.5 cups. Because the lady was so nice and so kind, I was able to go back and correct it. So the video is now correct. But if you made the recipe before, then I got it wrong and I needed to correct it. And so it is right now, and hopefully I didn't cause you guys too much trouble. Well, after all of that, we got busy doing more chores around the farm, and looked out. I was talking to Papa Tex and looked over at the pond, and there stood Rosie. Remember Rosie, the white-faced, my red white-faced heifer with the horns? She's Hallie's mama. And if you've been with me for very long, you know that I have a yearling heifer that I named Hallie. She was born in December last year, and I named her after my sweet Howie. And the reason that I did that is because, well, I'll just be honest with you. This year, everything is named Howie, or you know, has some meaning around it that ties back to him. And so I wanted to do that with her because I knew that she would be staying here on the farm. And Howie's grandparents, everyone here calls him Howie in Oklahoma. Now over in Arkansas, people called him Hal. His name is Howell, but they said Hal in Arkansas. Here they call him Howie. But his grandparents, instead of saying Howie, said Hallie. And so that's why I named her Hallie, to make me think of him and to pay homage to his grandparents, whom I never met, but wanted to do something just, you know, to tie into the family, and that she belongs here. And so that her mama had another calf this year. So I was talking to Pops, like I told you, and I looked out, and there she stood at the pond bank, and a little calf come walking around her, little white-faced calf. We were so excited, we thought, oh, we got another Hallie. And Tex went out and looked, and he come back and he said, I knew it was too pretty to be a heifer. It was a little bull calf, which that's good because we're in the business of taking calves to market. And so little steers, little bulls, they don't stay. And so when he grows out, he'll be going. In the process of that, though, we had another calf born, and I'm not sure if it's a heifer or a bull, but it was up and drinking. Mama was licking and cleaning, and it looks good and healthy. We've had probably 6 or 7 born within this last week. We're getting a good start on our calf crop. It's calving season. From December till about April, they'll have their calves. Every once in a while, we have some late bloomers in May, but we try to have them done with. The hot summer times is too stressful, so we try to have it done. And so these are probably from our Angus bull. If you remember, I've got an Angus bull and I've got a Beefmaster bull that I added in March of last year, or March of this year. So I'm right at the very beginning of the possibility of having calves from Doc, our Beefmaster bull. These two, pretty sure that they belong to the Angus, but it is what it is. And so we're excited to see those new babies born. It's an exciting time on the farm, and I always love to see those new births. Other than that, Cheyenne and I went to the big town of Muskogee and ran some errands, got some Christmas shopping done and some grocery shopping done. And oh, it's so crazy at town right now. There's so many people out. And then we went by the fruit company, fruit stand. It's not a farmer's market. It's there all the time. And that's where our church usually buys its bulk candies and fruits to make their little Christmas bags that we hand out every year. And this year's no different. Last year, of course, we missed. The church was closed down because of the sickness, and a lot of us in the church got sick, and we didn't have Christmas last year. And so we are doing our candy bags, or we're attempting to do the candy bags, and I was charged with going to getting the supplies that we needed. The bags always have an apple and an orange, which Blade and Cheyenne, forget the apple and the orange. It always has peanut brittle. It always has the little chocolate creams, the orange slices and the cherry slices, and a bag of the old-fashioned Christmas candy mix. The hard candies, the ribbon candy, and all the other little candies, the little round ones that's got the little flower in the middle, and the raspberry filled, and all of those. And we usually get all of those supplies at this fruit market. So I went today and to get the supplies, and no hard candy, none of that to be found. And so before I could even ask, somebody else asked about the hard candy. They said, where's the ribbon candy? Where's the hard candy? And they told them that there had been a fire at the candy company that's their supplier, and I guess back in the summer, and they were unable to get an order for the candy. So I've had to kind of run around today trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do to get these candies, these candy bags, get the supplies anyway for our candy. We usually meet on a Friday night, put the bags together and have a time of fellowship, and then on Sunday we give them out to the people that's at church, just as a little gift from the church to tell them that we love them, and in the spirit of Christmas. So this week I've got to figure out a way. Blade Ryan, when Cheyenne and I got home, he's like, and he might have even told us on the phone, I can't remember. He said, why can't y'all just make all the candy? And I thought, well, if I had weeks to do it, I might be able to, but that would be a whole lot of work to get enough peanut brittle and enough all the other kinds of candies to put into a bag for Christmas. It wouldn't be if we had planned ahead, and everybody had a different thing that they could add. Somebody make one kind of cookie and somebody make some kind of other cookie, and that might be a future idea. But I've got to regroup and readjust, and that's something that we have to do in life. We have to, something, parks right in front of us. We have to go around it sometimes, and we have to readjust and rethink our plans, and it's going to be okay. We'll be fine with whatever we come up with, and so the next few days I got to try to figure out that. Other than that, we are going full steam ahead here on the farm, and we're still doing our best to look well to the ways of our household. I thought tonight we'd talk a little bit about mistakes, or the things that cause us to feel like we have shortcomings in our lives, or failures, or things that make us feel inferior or less than. And I got to thinking about that because of the little lady that was so nice to tell me, hey, I think, and she was nice about it, but people won't always be nice to you. They won't always say kindly, hey, I think you made a mistake. There's a saying going around, has been for a long time, about straightening your crown. Sometimes it says, It talks about two ladies, about, you know, you see your sister or you see the other lady, to, instead of announcing it to the world, just straighten her crown, help her out. There's others that bring about reminding yourself of whose daughter you are, meaning the Lord's daughter. If you're a child of the King, then you are the Lord's child. Then straighten your crown and get back to business. You know, all of us face things in our lives that makes us feel inferior in one way or another. We put things on ourselves when we try to measure up against somebody else. And I really don't think the Lord intends for us to do that. I think that we can have mentors in our life, and that there are people that we can strive to be like them in certain aspects of our life, but to try to be totally like that person sets us up for failure. And I've probably shared this with you before, but I grew up in a very close-knit family, and a family that had a lot of you know, I had a lot of cousins. There was always people to play with. And I had these two cousins in particular. I have a bunch, but these two cousins are so much alike. They're both, and one of them is just a few days older than I am. And the other one, I think, is a year, maybe 2 years younger than me. But as we were growing up, if we were in a family picture, they were always tall and willowy, had great big old brown doe eyes, just beautiful girls. And when I looked at them and I compared myself to them, I felt less than. Now, they didn't put that off on me. I took that onto myself, because here they were, just gorgeous girls, and I was redheaded and short. Back then, I wasn't chubby at all. I was average, maybe even smaller than some of the others. But as the years went on, and I began to just think how horrible I was compared to them. And we shouldn't do that to ourselves. We should remember who we are. Remember that we're the King's daughter or the King's son. And to rise above the things that try to pull us down, that try to make us feel that we're less than anybody else. Now, we can't get prideful and think that we're better than others, but we need to put ourselves on a level playing field and remember that mistakes and shortcomings and things that hinder us sometimes are not the things that are important. The thing that is important is that we continue to move forward, that we continue to grow as a person. You know, I've shared with you many, many times that I have always been a bashful person. And it kept me from getting involved in a lot of things in life, not necessarily bad things, but things that would have been fun. Friendships and camaraderie that I would have enjoyed if I hadn't have been so bashful and so pulled back and reserved and thinking that I was less than those people. Now that I'm older and I've come to a place that that I'm more comfortable in my skin, and that I realize that, yeah, I've got shortcomings, and there are people that'll point those shortcomings out to you very quickly. A lot of times you don't have to do anything. They'll just put it out there for all to see. And I've struggled with that because I've come a long, long way. And then you see, especially on YouTube, you see comments that people make. And they can be ugly, ugly comments. And they don't take into consideration your feelings. They just feel like they have a right to tell you, hey, you know, you really need to do something. You're really unhealthy. Look at this person. She's unhealthy. Don't you have any idea? And, you know, I could look at those things if I was my old self and say, I quit. I'm embarrassed. I feel horrible. I want to hide. But I have decided that I don't have to be that person anymore. I don't have to let those words define me. Do they hurt? Yeah, they hurt. You know, our whole lives we're taught. I don't know if you guys were or not, but I'm sure some of you grew up like I did have heard sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's not true. It's really not true. The words do hurt. Words hurt. But we can't let those words define us. We have to keep moving. You know, they call us crazy. You crazy preppers. You crazy, insane people that are doing all these things. I think people are now starting to change their minds because they're saying, you know, maybe we really should have put some things back. Maybe we should have made some preparations in the good times for the bad times. Maybe we should have considered that prices were going to go sky high on stuff. Maybe we should have done that. We don't look so crazy anymore. We need to continue with what's on our heart. If God has laid on your heart, if you feel an urging in your heart to prepare for your family, that's what I would do. I don't care if they call me crazy. You know, we're not defined by what others say that we are. We're defined by what the Lord says we are. We have to do what He tells us that we should do. And we should embrace what He has for us. I look back and it sorrows me sometimes to think about how many times that I felt an urge to speak with people and to tell stories and to have fun and to be joyful. But I let fear and I let anxiety and I let inferiority keep me from doing what I was supposed to do. Well, I'm not the only one. I know that some of you face inferiority at times. My granny, beautiful woman, great minister, loving person. You couldn't ask for a better person, but she had an inferiority complex, and she'd shared it with me when she was a younger woman, how she felt. And God helped her. She still, on occasion, and I do the same thing, think, oh. But I've watched people that seem to have nothing holding them back. And I've watched the joy and the pure happiness that they've been able to have in life. One person that comes to my mind is my cousin David's wife, Julie. She is a nut. And she loves to laugh. She loves to joke. You know, her jokes are kind of corny. And I like corny jokes. I used to tell Blade a joke every morning, him and Howie, before they went off to work. And they would laugh sometimes or shake their heads or try not to laugh. And Julie's that way. She's lighthearted. And I love that about her. I spent a lot of years not being that way because I cared about what people thought, or I worried about what people thought. People sometimes can keep us from doing what we're led to do. People can keep us from loving others. You know, they bring a certain amount of condemnation on us, or fear on us. You shouldn't put your emotions out there. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You know, people will discourage you from reaching out to other people. And now more than ever, we need to be encouragers. We need to lift people up. This time of year, we know that there are so many people that are lonely. I've had people on my YouTube channel say, you know, I don't get anything out of the holidays. I have nobody. And it's so sad. And it's so, sometimes it's even unimaginable that they don't have anybody. But there are people out there that come across our paths, and we can look for those opportunities to reach out to individuals. And we can look for opportunities to do what we can to encourage others, to straighten their crowns, so to speak. One of the groups that I have seen in recent years are young mothers that come to church, young parents. And their little babies will go to making noise, or their little toddlers will be doing something, especially in churches where they don't have nurseries. Not every church has a nursery. Not every church has a Sunday school for the littles. And those littles will get to making a noise. And the first thing Mama does is she, hugs that baby and she pats them, and she's trying to keep them from making a noise and worried about what everybody's going to think. And we can be an encourager to them. We can love on that young mother. We can encourage her, keep bringing that baby to church, keep bringing that baby to Sunday school. We can be a encourager of her and her young family, her and her husband, and their little children. We need to encourage our older people that are struggling with age-related issues. And try to encourage them. Listen to their stories. Listen to the experience that they have in life. They are such a great and valuable resource to us. Encourage them. Straighten their crown. In this day and age, a lot of kids are easily crushed, because we want them to sit in a corner and be quiet, or we want to stifle any kind of imagination that they have. And we need to be encouraging our children, encouraging them to have an imagination and to let them be children. We're so in a hurry in this day and age to have them to grow up. But I think allow them to be a child. Allow them to, pretend to be astronauts and firefighters and farmers, or whatever it is that they want to be. And I want to be an encourager of children. I want to encourage them in their creativity, in their imagination. I don't want to squash that. I don't want to be so quick to have them grow up and say, you got to learn this, and you got to learn this, and you got to learn this. Straighten their little crowns. When we see people make mistakes. I made a mistake today. I haven't felt any condemnation for it. The little lady's so kind, she straightened my crown. And I guarantee if you guys watch me long enough, you'll see me make more mistakes, and you'll have to reach up and straighten my crown. And right now, I'll tell you, I appreciate all of you folks all through this year. I've stumbled. I've made mistakes. Started building YouTube off of Howie, of what he had already started, and I stumbled a lot. I have fretted, and I have cried, and I have prayed, trying to learn how to run my phone, run the camera, putting it on the YouTube channel, editing. I have struggled with all of those things that made me feel inferior and made me feel dumb and made me feel this and that. But I had people that straightened my crown and said, you're doing good. You're doing good. And I appreciate that. I've had people that have walked the path with me. On this YouTube channel and on my Facebook page, I've got widows on there. Some have been widows for years that took me by the hand and walked me down the path. They straightened my crown. And I've had opportunities since I began. I've had, I don't know how many little ladies that have said, I just lost my husband. And I've been able to, hopefully, in return, straighten their crown. I guess what I'm trying to get at tonight is, even though we make mistakes, and even though we feel inferior, and even though sometimes we feel crazy and that we're losing it all because we have lost our way a little bit, take opportunity to straighten somebody else's crown. And if there's not anyone around to straighten your crown, if you know Jesus, remember who you are in Him. Hold to Him. Remember that you're His child, and straighten your crown. This is quick tonight, guys, and it's late. Another mistake that I made. But I love you. This is Josie. I really do love you. And until next time, we're gone.